Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful day with us on Live with Lloyd. I am your host, astronumerologist Lloyd Strayhorn. As you see on the screen, I have my brother, my baby brother, one of my favorites, Reverend Brandon Smith. And we're going to be talking about an interesting subject. And yes, we are going to be doing readings too. There is no question. But I want to let you know that today's event is sponsored by the Sisters of the Traveling Spread. And so you should go to the website, stshealing.com. That's stshealing.com to sign up for the particulars and register for the upcoming event in August the 20th through the 17th in New Orleans. Okay. And I thank them very, very much for sponsoring today's show. Also, this is let you know the cosmic forecast for today. As you see, it is Monday, the 24th, 2023. The sun is in Aries. The moon went into Cancer this afternoon, about a little after, almost close to 3 o'clock. And Mercury's retrograde. It went retrograde on the 21st, just a couple of days ago. It's an 11 universal month, a 6 universal week, an 8 universal day. And if you happen to be a Capricorn, an Aquarius, or a Libra, like my guest, or Pisces or Taurus, all born on a date that adds up to the 6th, the 8th, the 15th, the 24th, and the 26th of the month, well, this is your day as well. All right, everybody, hold on one second. Everybody, I want to thank you. It's good to see you. Oh, please like, share, and subscribe. I forget to say, even though it's at the top of the reading when I do this, please like, please share, please subscribe. Okay, thank you. So anyway, it's very interesting. The gentleman, my distinguished friend and brother and colleague, Brandon Smith, he and I were talking. And you know, it's interesting. I've noticed that there are people who will get solicitations. Like I've gotten one, well, it feels you need a reading and call in. And I noticed that this was very, especially here in New York City, they'll have little shops, Palmer Street shops, and you come in for $5 or $10. They may, raise the price a little bit more. But the point is, you come in for a session and they seem to know or very skillful at understanding human nature in terms of your weaknesses. Is the challenge about love? Is the challenges about, health or job or career? And then they'll play on it. So that $5 will turn into $5, $10, or $15 will turn into tens of thousands, in some cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And my case is, as I tell you, I will never, ever, 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 ever get a note or text from me saying, this is Lloyd, you need to get in touch with me. If you get that, believe me, that's fake. Normally, I don't do that. I've never done that. People more come to me than anything. And I found this is the case also with church. For example, not too long ago, I met a gentleman, his two sons and daughters, in the park, and he started talking to me, and he explained how his wife, and they're almost at the point of breakup, his wife gives overwhelmingly half of her resources to God. And I went to seminary school, but I never knew that tithing means you give up all of your money. Let me bring my guest in. Brandon, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, brother Lloyd.
Listen, it's interesting. You said you got something like that too. Somebody told you. How did you put it?
Yeah, I was on. Somebody messaged me on Instagram saying my ancestors led me to you to give you some advice, and so I said, "All right, tell them come talk to me directly."
That makes sense. Why do you think people? What is it about those types of things? And especially, I notice it's in the church. It seems that less men are going more to the church, and more women are going to the church. But here it is: you have a woman sending money out of the country, and the guy he's struggling, trying to make ends meet. He thinks like he has beautiful kids, and his wife seems fixated on the more she gives money to this unseen entity that she sends it to, the more they're struggling. Am I missing something?
No,
Mhm.
so that's a loaded conversation or a loaded question.
Yeah, because tithing don't mean giving. What is,
No.
as a reverend, what is your definition of tithing? What does it say in a good book or
So
make references to tithing?
so in reference to tithing, there's two ways I'm gonna answer that question. The biblical definition, the word tithe literally means a tenth. So there are, going back to Genesis, I believe Genesis chapter 14, where who is it? Abram, before his name is changed to Abraham.
Abraham. Yep.
Yeah, so Abram, he gives a tithe to Melchizedek, who is also, some scholars suggest that this could also be Noah's son Shem, but that, that's neither here nor there. But he gives him a tenth because Melchizedek, or Shem, is his personal teacher, and as a result, he gives him a tithe of his income, or a tithe of all of his possessions, and he gives him a tenth of that as a means of like personal support. So
Okay.
that's the origin in terms of like a biblical understanding of tithing. But here's the thing, Lloyd, tithing is actually older than what we can understand in terms of like the Bible. Tithing is a spiritual principle that, according to some of the esoteric teachings, it actually originates with God or with the universe, in terms of giving and receiving. When we look at like human life, um, we come from some source, whether it's God, the universe, the stars, whatever, people may call it. We come from that source, and then at the end of our life, we return back to that source in terms of like that universal consciousness, whatever the case is. So there's always been this give and receive as it relates to God.
So tithing means just a portion, not
Not,
half of
not
all.
not all of it. Yeah, and there are even instances where it's not advised to give beyond those means, or give beyond the point, giving to the point where you're straining your family or your household and things like that. Because there are portions of the Bible that suggest that the family unit is one of God's greatest resources. If the mother, father, children, as that aspect, or the masculine, feminine, and then that the creation aspect is in unity, then you have the ability to create. And so yeah, this it gets it gets real sticky, especially with church, with like you said earlier, there's a lot of men leaving the church, or men may not go to the church, women go to the church, and then there's this business of how much money you giving, because the tithe, and there's a difference also between tithes and offerings. So you may go
Ah, that's
so you
interesting.
yeah
Okay, can you explain it then?
so the tithes is and I want to expound on a little more, but let's say the tithe is like your tax, and then the offering is like your tip.
Okay.
Or rather, if you go out to a restaurant, um, the tithing is what you owe in a spiritual sense. It's you got to pay this debt. It's to a degree, it's almost like karma.
Mhm,
It's
mhm.
something that you pay into. Whereas offering is like, I'm sowing seeds, or this is a donation that I'm giving. This is extra that I'm giving. Now the offering part is like free will to a degree. And when I say tithing is what you owe, that's under an Old Testament concept, under the law, because after the whole Melchizedek thing, Moses, as he comes up with the Torah, or the Torah, the law, he adopts this whole concept of tithing. In our favorite book, the book of Numbers,
Yep.
chapter, I believe it's chapter 18, verse like 21 through verse 21. 10% of the income, or 10% of the gross, and whether this was agriculture, whether this was farm animals, whether this was financial resources, 10% of that was given to support the priests. And that's what we understood it in the Levitical priesthood. Then in Deuteronomy 14, now listen, this one is key, Lloyd. In Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 22 through 27, it says that basically 10% of that 90% that's left, because you've taken 10% and that's your tithe. So
Mhm.
this 90% that you have left, you take 10% of that and save it for the future of your family support. So this is like your savings. So now you've got 80% left. In that same chapter, verse 28 through 29, it says that on the third tithe, so this could be the third time that you get paid. This could be, or whatever, the third time that you're given a tithe. That tithe actually goes to support the poor, and that was the Old Testament model of tithing. And so essentially, what the teachings was, it was about being able to detach yourself from this, from your the need to be relying on like your finances, and to be able to understand like what your true source of supply is.
Well, so in other words, this man that I met with his 3 children, talking to me, almost at a point where he and his wife are literally about to separate because she insists on giving or overwhelming nearly half of the money she makes and sends it, and was told that if she didn't get it, they would send a note saying, you need to send $300, you need to send $500. I didn't know that God was a kind of demanding God like that. I thought he was a loving God. No?
Yeah, I've never known him to be a bill collector.
Thank you.
And here's the thing, what I would say about that, that's a form of manipulation. That's also what I would call a narcissistic leader. People who will take from finances, especially people who have family, and
Yeah.
you look at the economic times that we're living in right now. Only a narcissistic person would take to the point where their families are falling apart and they can barely make ends meet. And then if you don't meet, now imagine if they're doing it to that one person, how many else are they doing it to?
Yeah. Because they mentioned the fact that this all started in and around 2020, the year of the pandemic. And you made a mention of that. Can you explain that when we was talking the other day?
Yeah. I think on one level, and let me just kind of put this disclaimer out here. I can definitely stand on my own 2 feet for any religious folk who have an issue with what I'm saying. These are my opinions, and
We have it. These are our opinions. Thank you.
if you got a problem with my opinions, you can call the office and we can talk about it. The reason why I suggest that around 2020, that it was we were seeing a height of that, especially like around the pandemic. When you look at the word church, and when I say church, I want to speak in a general sense of not just the Christian denomination, but I'm talking about houses of worship, regardless of denomination. That word in the Chaldean, or behind this, the esoteric or spiritual meaning behind the scene, adds up to the number 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
What year was 2020 adds up to?
2020 was a 4.
And what is the direct opposition number to the 6?
4.
So we're seeing that the church in general, the institution in general, was having some issue, some difficulties. You
couldn't congregate.
Right. It was going through sudden and unexpected changes. One of those sudden and unexpected changes was the money. How do I know this so well? Because I worked at a church. I could, if we don't have service,
That's why you're on this show, Brandon. Thank you.
That means the musician can't play. If the musician can't play, that means the musician can't get paid. If all of you who got an issue with the musicians getting paid, just know that we paid money to go to school to learn the stuff that you asked us to do. So just go ahead and pay us. Thank you very much. That's my little quick commercial.
It's interesting. When I was a kid, I would go to church with my mom, and I noticed they would have 2 or 3 or 4 different envelopes during the part. There was one at one, then another one, then another one. And so it's like by the time they collected, and they would come around with the plate, and you put your envelope with the money in the plate. But that would be about 3 or 4 or 5 times, though.
Oh, yeah. Now, I think that the times have changed. And so, you have a lot of churches that have, kind of established budgets where they've done, significant fundraisers, and they have different fundings and things like that. But here's the thing, Lloyd, the church, the Christian culture, let me talk about that now, is that the Christian culture was established rather under the Piscean era. So this deals with like this whole aspect of belief and devotion and things like that. We're now in the Aquarian age, which focuses more on the individual and how the individual can grow. So that means that the individual is not going to put their financial or put their resources into this or feel devoted or feel compelled to put those resources into the institution when they can invest those resources into themselves. You know, when they can go to, and then, you know, the Aquarian age. So this is talking about you know, folks like us doing the metaphysics and deeper spiritual studies. They'll invest in that. And, you know, there's a way I want to talk about how tithing is more about like making karmic deposits or deposits into your spiritual bank accounts. So what that interprets on deeper levels, and I do in the healing work that I do, if I have, say, a client who has cancer, part of what I'll do is instead of me charging them my full price, I'll say, okay, this is, you know, we'll work out a fee because there is that energy exchange. But I'll tell them part of your healing process is to tithe into an organization that supports, you know, cancer or supports, you know, whatever their condition may be. Because what happens is when we tithe or when we put in that money, we start to generate good karma. Now, here's a secret that only the people who's watching this is going to get, Lloyd. What we can do is we can put the intention out that a portion of this tithe will be used to, say, neutralize negative karma, or will go towards a particular purpose or project that I have. This is the, you know, a prayer that we're putting out. And this is some of the missing teachings around tithing in church, because
the intentions of the tithing, you're saying.
Yes, exactly. Because you can give that 10% and you attach a prayer to it. You know, this is where we look at the metaphysics of the spirituality or of religion, is that tithe, it's a spiritual seed. And so if I plant it with good fertilizer, and this is where, you know, in the Bible, it talks about don't give out of, you know, grudgingly or out of necessity, but God loves a cheerful giver, because with that gratitude and with that happiness, the seed that you're planting is able to grow.
Got it. Listen, what about some that says we need now, what is the difference between a pastor, a minister, a reverend, or does it all mean the same, but it all depends on what denomination you're in, whether Baptist, Pentecostal, Catholic? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it means different things in different denominations. So for me, I'm a reverend. I'm licensed and ordained as a reverend, but technically I'm not a pastor because I'm not over a particular congregation or a church.
Got it.
When you and so when I and this is in my church, in my tradition, when you have that title pastor, you're the person that is, you know, in charge of the church. I'm one of what we call the associate ministers. But then and then you can have ministers who are there, what they call licensed to preach. And this is in the Baptist tradition again. They're licensed to preach, but they're not ordained. So that ordination, it gives you certain rights in terms of like being able to perform marriages with having, you know, the, you know, registration with the city and all that.
Would that include baptisms too, for example?
It depends on the church tradition. So there's within each church, they can have, say, particular laws that say only ordained persons can do the baptism, or only, you know, if you're licensed or ordained, you could do it. So that's up to the local, you know, the local congregations. But the difference, that's the main difference between pastor, reverend, and minister, is that the pastor is in charge of the church. Now you have some churches where you can find someone who has the title elder, and they're over a church. And so that's just that particular church's, you know, but and the person who's in charge of the church, that's the pastor of the church. When you walk in and, you know, they say, you know, who's the pastor? They're going to point you to a particular individual. So that's
what about a person like carries the title like Bishop T.D. Jakes? He's a bishop. Is there a difference?
Yeah. So bishops are they're like the pastor's pastor. So
okay.
So a bishop, technically by their responsibility, they're over, you know, more than one, or multiple churches. They just kind of oversee. They're like the they're the district supervisor in terms
Mhm.
of management. And then you have your local managers who run the individual churches, and they report to their, their district supervisor, or their district manager. And so the bishop has the authority to ordain clergy, and there's some church traditions, like the church tradition my father's in that I came out of. The bishop has the authority to assign you to different churches. So
Ah,
that's actually how I ended up in Bermuda. I was born in Yeadon, Pennsylvania, and in 1997, 96 rather, my father was appointed to pastor a church in Bermuda. And then August the 14th of that following year, 1997, is when my family moved to Bermuda.
interesting.
Yes.
There's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Anything else before we turn it over? We're gonna do some readings too, because to get people's birthdays. But let me say this. First of all, Brandon and I and others of what we do metaphysically and spiritually, we will never come to you and tell you. In fact, if it is somebody says that you need a reading, and as you said, what, let God give it to you directly? Is that what you said?
Yep. Send
Yeah.
it to me directly.
Because I asked the gentleman in the park about this situation. How long has his wife been doing this? He says since 2020. I says, okay, it's now 2023. So have she heard from God? And I'm not trying to,
Yeah.
but I've got this common sense thing where I like to question things, and it's not a challenge, but
Yep.
as to question, only because people are taking so much advantage of their fears, their whatever the case is, and just as you got what they call this rip-off artists or scammers, it also happens in my field, and it happens in the religious field too. So scammers come all kind of ways. Yes, you talk about, oh, they got to worry about getting my credit cards from banks or gas stations when you put your credit card in the gas pump, to get it. Well, they got scammers on every level, including in my field and including in Reverend Brandon's field too.
Yeah.
So I'm
Absolutely.
saying, please, give, but give in a common sense way. Give
Yeah.
not at the sacrifice of your family. This guy was really about to lose his family and his wife, and especially he had a most beautiful little girl, and she could not see that money that could be raising and grooming her daughter and her two sons and helping her husband who was struggling,
Yeah.
but to give it mostly to somebody out of the country she don't even know, who will then periodically, if they don't hear from him, he said that they will send a note saying you need to give $300 this week, $500. I didn't know God was that specific or such a bill collector, as you said.
No, no, no. God doesn't work like that. And one of the things I would say is that there's the word is intelligent evaluation or discernment. And so when you're especially in this this particular case, and it's so unfortunate that this brother's going through that. When you're looking at these ministries that are international, and they're just constantly asking for the money, you got to really tap into the God within you. And that's what there's a lot of this Aquarian energy is about, is discovering that God within you to find out am I really supposed to be engaging in this? Because if, like you said, if it's at the point where this person is out of the country, so it's not even like they say, oh, we didn't see you in service this week, we missed you.
Yeah, where you been?
Is everything all right? We ain't see you at Bible study on Tuesday.
Yeah, yeah.
The choir director said that none of that message is coming through. They said, hey, where's the money? That's extortion. I think that using discernment is important. But here's the other thing is that, and I was in Bermuda over the Christmas holidays, and I preached at a church on New Year's Eve. And I stood up and I was like, y'all know I work with numbers, so just permit me to give y'all some free advice as a church. In 2023, we're being this 7 universal year, so folks they'll be looking to come back to church.
Yeah.
but the churches can't continue to operate under the same old guises that they used to. Um, there's really got to be programs and things in place that's going to help people to change their lives, so that way that, they ain't got to wait till the by and by to for things to get better. They can have that, as the scripture says, in this life and in the life to come. um so I think, as that's just something that's important to look at. If you're a part of a church that's not helping your life to grow, and that's not helping you to, when you look at the quality of your life and the amount of time and resources. That's the other thing about time. It's not just your money, but it's your, as my father said, it's your time, your talent, and your treasure. So how much time are you putting there? How much of your gifts you're that you're willingly, giving away, and your treasure? If all of that, you're giving all of that and you're not getting nothing in return, in the laws of traffic, you're driving on one-way streets.
There was something you had mentioned in our previous conversation before tonight's show, that you said back in the 14th century, there was
Yes.
a specific group.
Yes.
What was it called? Indulgences or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah. So back in the 14th century, the Roman Catholic Church was selling what they called indulgences. And what indulgences was, and this is just basically go to show how there have always been issues with the church and money. And what the church did with these indulgences is they would basically sell you land or property in heaven. So let's say if I had a loved one who had passed away and they were living a sinful life, or we wasn't sure that they were going to go to heaven.
Yeah.
We could go to the church and we could pay a certain fee that would guarantee their soul to go to heaven.
Really?
Yeah. We were literally, the church was selling acres of land in heaven for a little while, until someone said,
You mean people went for that?
yeah. A lot of that stuff went on, man. I mean, and this, you got to remember that this was during the time where the world was changing in dramatic ways, and so there was no way to easily do research. You just took what the leaders,
that was it.
Exactly. And then if the mass was in a language that people couldn't read or understand or write, then all right, we just take what they say. That's at value. That's what the Bible says. That's what the book says.
Do you think, fast forward 21st century, based upon that 14th century concept, that somebody would try to actually convince their congregation or their church members that, what, we got something going? You can get a piece of land in heaven. And I mean, do you think somebody could pull that off?
Pull it off? No. And if they did, if they were able to pull that off, then I need to talk to them, because I got some ideas that I want to sell some people. I need to know the trick, because there is no way. There's no way, Lloyd, no way.
Yeah, you told me that sounded so like, really?
Yeah.
They were told that, you give and you guaranteed a piece of land in heaven. And ain't nobody ever come back to say, yo, man, you should saw my property. I had a 20-acre spread. You know what I'm saying? I had some horses and cattle and some flowers and trees and, really?
Listen, I haven't met anyone that's come back that told me about their real estate up there either.
No.
Now, I've read in the scriptures where, Jesus says, in my Father's house are many mansions. The translation really says, in his home are many rooms. So I get it. Maybe I might have a room in heaven. I don't know about
many mansions, right?
Yeah. I mean, even if it is a mansion, because if God is his universal consciousness and everything is everywhere, that means my house can be as big as I want it to be.
And let me say this for the viewers. We in no way, Reverend Brandon Smith and I, are making fun of the church. What we're saying is just be very conscious of red flags that come through the church. Just as you got scammers that, like I forgot the guy that cleaned all these people out of their millions of dollars and, countless. You got scammers in every branch of the human society, from what I do, okay, to what Brandon does in his field. So what I'm saying is, please exercise common sense. And if your gut tells you there's something wrong with that, and begin to look at that Bible, because there are messages, and I don't think nowhere in the text, and I'm not a scholarly person on your level, but I can never remember nowhere in the text where it says you got to give all your money or half your money at the sacrifice of your loved ones. Never.
Yeah.
And if so, I'd like to know the passage and verse for that.
Now, here's an interesting thing, Lloyd. There is a story about a woman. They said the way that she's described is she's a poor widow, and she only has, what is it, like maybe two or three cents, you know, for to contextualize it.
Mm-hmm.
They says that while she was there, she gave all she had. She put in her 3 cents and went back to her seat. And then they said that behind her came this, you know, a wealthy person who, you know, gave, you know, say $50 or whatever the case is, compared to the $1 million that they have in their bank.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, paraphrasing now, the story basically is that this man said, you know, y'all can't judge me because I gave more than this woman. And then they said, well, technically you didn't, because she gave all she had. And that's really yeah. And it's a parable, because it really talks about the nature of being able to sacrifice yourself for humanity, or for a higher purpose, or for a cause. There's not, but it is nowhere, like you said, nowhere in the text in the Bible does it say to give all of your money away, and not literally meaning that.
Yeah. At the sacrifice of your loved ones and your family members.
No. Now here's the thing. In the Buddhist tradition, there's what we call the Four Noble Truths. There's the existence of suffering in the world. There's the cause of suffering. There's the elimination of suffering, and then there's the what they call the Eightfold Path, which is the path to the elimination of suffering. So they say that the cause of suffering is basically that suffering exists. That's number one. Two is the cause of suffering, which is basically the inability to detach. And so as it relates to money, when we look at that particular story, how this woman was able to give all that she had, she wasn't attached to her money. And there's some people, if you take their money away, you know, you got a whole problem on their hands. Yeah. Like they didn't just make $500 the day before. Like they did, like, you know, like sometimes it's a lack consciousness that overrides our abundance consciousness. And so, you know, that, you know, and that's a whole, you know, another interview that we could talk about.
And what I want to do before we turn it over to our comment section and begin to read people, this is your book. Explain your book, because I think it's very excellent. And for those that sometimes question about, and as they said, explain your book, Brandon.
Yes. So Lloyd, when you know, over the course of us working together over the years, you said to me, Brandon, you need to write a book. And I was like,
I say that to everybody though. I don't know why they
yeah.
Around.
Yeah, and had I known that you said that to everybody, I'd say, man, you gonna talk that stuff again. I'm gonna pretend like everybody else. But here's the thing, Lord. I noticed that there's been a couple of folks that you said it to that have put out some phenomenal books.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have.
Jackie Levine, her book.
Oh, and King Simon, that guy just ran with it.
He's got like an encyclopedia of books, man. So so my book, Namaste to Numbers, when you told me to write the book, I brushed it off, and I was home one night. It was a Thursday night, maybe about sometime in April. And I was waking up about 3:30 in the morning. And this voice just said to me, I mean, it was audible. I could hear it clear as day. Was Namaste to Numbers. And I'm sitting like, Namaste to Numbers. All right, wrote it down on my notepad and went back to sleep. So then I woke up in the morning. I'm like, you know, what is that? So of course, Namaste is a Hindu, the Sanskrit greeting that means that, you know, the divinity in me salutes or recognizes the God in you. Mm-hmm. And so I thought about it, seeing God through numbers and how numbers really tell the story of God. And I asked a question: is there a place in the Christian tradition for the metaphysics, for like numerology, for astrology, and all these different tools? And I talk about how our service is based around numbers. You know, it starts at a certain time. We sing songs that are in a musical rhythm. We raise offering that's in a dollar amount. So there's a when the preacher is preaching, you got to open to a particular book at a particular chapter to a
And
particular
a verse. Yep. Everything.
There was one time I preached a passage. It was the first 5 words of the 6th chapter of the 7th book. No, the first 5 words of the 6th chapter of I think it was like the 3rd book in the New Testament. And it was some way like the numbers had lined up. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't intentionally, did that, but I was like, this is all I really need right here. So I just noticed how numbers had a pattern as I studied numerology, as I had that wrestle with myself. So I come from a very traditional religious background.
About 3 generations of ministers, right? Your dad, 5. Okay, that even makes it more so. Okay.
Yeah. On my father's side, I'm a 5th generation preacher, especially coming through the Methodist tradition. So that's definitely kind of rigid and strict. Most of my dad's family is from Bermuda and the Caribbean, so that's a whole another layer on top of it. Yeah. My mom has 14 brothers and sisters, and I think out of the 14 of them, maybe 3 didn't go to church. So it's like I was a church kid, But numerology, the metaphysics, the energy healing that I do, meditation, all this stuff, it made so much sense to me. I was like, you know what? Let me just see where this goes. And so I literally sat down and I talked about seeing God through numbers and how number 1 represents the God as a creator. We read that in the first book of the Bible, the first chapter and the first verse. In the beginning, the number 1, God created the number 1, and even so there was just just a number of ways in which I break down how each number tells the story of God for persons who are interested in numerology, but they're in, say, the religious community. It demystifies numerology.
So you take passages from the Bible, examples. Yes. This is an excellent book, and everybody should have this in their collection, especially those Christians, those of faith, of worship, things like that. This is a must to see how he has looked at it, because sometimes people think that what we do goes against the laws of God, which is no, not quite the contrary.
I quote St. Augustine, who is one of the fathers of the church. And St. Augustine says that numbers must come from God because they obey laws that no man can create.
Amen. As they say, amen.
And if this is one of the men who, that the church, they look to for
revere.
For theological, what did Augustine say? All right, if he said that, then we're gonna go with it. And Augustine, by the way, was African.
Are we surprised, sir?
Not at all.
Oh, thank you.
Not at all.
I'm not. That's the origin. Listen, if Africa is the origin of civilization and everything else that's come before it.
Yep. You know one of the first civilizations to practice tithing? Egyptian.
Get out of here. In fact, the oldest biblical church is in Ethiopia.
Yep.
The second oldest Christian church, a Baptist church or something like that, I believe.
Yep. You got the Babylonians, the Arabians, the Sicilians, the Cretans, Romans, Egyptians, the Chinese. They all practice tithing in some way, shape, or form.
Good. Let's have some fun, Brandon. You're going to do some readings, buddy. Okay.
Let's hop on it.
Okay. Everybody, thank you. Thank you for indulging us, because we just wanted to kind of clear the air. Brandon nor I, or any people that I have on my show, will ever text you or DM you or whatever is going on, they call these things now, about you need a reading and you need to give us your money. That should be a red flag, okay? I'm telling you, I would never ask you. So if you see something in my name, it's a fake. I'm telling you right now, I would never, ever, ever, ever do that. All right, Brandon, so let's get this thing started here. All right, boy, there's a lot of comments too.
Yeah, I'm looking at them.
Yeah, okay. A lot of people are giving you. Now, here's our first one, Denisha Hansen. She is 2/22/85 at 3:52 a.m. All righty, so that means her Sun is, if that's a 6, 7. It's probably about in the second, about the first, second. It's either second or third house, but I think it's toward the second, toward the third. But anyway, that's where Sun is. But what say you about Denisha Hanson?
So this was, you said 320, 222?
222. Oh, excuse me.
Okay.
This would help it. Put it up on the screen.
Okay, got it. 222.85. So this year, she's actually in a 4 personal year, which is one of her numbers. She is born under the 22nd, which adds up to the number 4. So this year is not about necessarily establishing a foundation, but for her, this is the year where she's has the potential to build on maybe an already established foundation. Whether this could be a mental foundation or maybe literally some type of foundation, but this is the year where she can really expand depending how she uses her energy, or she can destroy some things. So it's really about guarding, using your mental powers. And when I say mental powers, what I really mean is the power of thought. So what you think, you have the ability to attract. You have this very magnetic energy where you can make concepts into a reality. So she needs to be mindful of her thoughts this year.
Very good. What about this person here? Strawberry, 1955, born January the 7th, 1955.
This would be...
And her sun is in the 12th house. Okay.
So this person is in a 6 personal year. So this would be a time to really take a few moments to really just pause and appreciate the beauty of life. You know, if you're outside in nature, you know, walking around and you're looking at the flowers are blossoming right now, just pause and appreciate that. You probably had enough years where you've put in the work and you've done your studying and learning and growing and, you know, doing what you need to do. So this is really that time where it's just pause, handle what you want to handle. Actually, this is what I'll say, that, you know, you don't have to take on anything in terms of like responsibilities that you don't want to, but this is really that year to just go and enjoy yourself and appreciate the beauty of what's around you.
Good. This is Nakisha Morton. She's born 11/22. This is the second 22 we've had. Okay. 1981. And Grand Rising to you, Sister Morton.
So this one, interestingly, just like the first person we read, is also in a 4 personal cycle, the 13, which we know to be the number of power and dominion. So he who understands in terms of like when we look at the tarot, he who understands the power of the 13 will be given power and dominion. So this is also a year about getting things off the ground, starting things, establishing some sort of foundation. But then again, you want to watch your mindset, because what you think is what you attract in this 7 universal year.
Okay, good. Now this is interesting. This is our first couple. This is from Brother Theodore Conyer, and he says he's got his book. Thank you so much, Brother Theodore, and would like to know about his wife. Now he is September the 24th, a Libra, and she is June the 6th, which is interesting.
Yeah. All right. So they're both 6s.
Yep, both 6s.
Let's see. All right. Let's have 1 second. So let me make sure I've got this right. He is in, wow, Lloyd, take a guess of which one year he's in.
I know. I already saw it. No, I already know.
There's something about this number 4 that keeps popping up. He's in a 4 personal.
And it's not that bad, Theodore. You know, Brandon and I just got an inside joke, but you're good.
Yeah.
You're right. Go ahead.
So he's in a 4 personal year, and his wife is in a 1 personal year. So he wants to know about his wife and I. So his wife is looking for new experiences, and he may find that this year may be a little more restrictive. So here's what I would say between the two of them is to look at how you can plan. Plan your dreams and then work that plan so that way you can accomplish your dreams and experience those new experiences.
Good. And it's very, very interesting with those two, because with sixes they can be very set in their ways. So it's like the illustration you see with two mules trying to go in separate directions, tied by the neck, and they can't go nowhere. Which means you either got to decide to go one way together or the
Yeah.
other way together. That's the
Yes.
whole moral of that.
And
Okay.
hence I say you got to work a plan. Have a plan and work it.
Okay, now this is Gwendolyn, aka Unique Lady Gabor. She's January the 1st of 55.
Okay. So she is in a 9 personal year. So this is about bringing some things to an end, whether this could be, retirement, or decide, what, I ain't putting up with this no more. This is done. So anything that's not helping her to be, to help her to live out her dreams, in this portion of her life, it's about bringing that to an end. But then in that process of bringing things to an end, what are the dreams that you have for your life? The things that you may not have been able to achieve in life, because as that especially that Capricorn 1 energy is always on the go, always working, trying to establish himself. So what are some of the things that you've always wanted to achieve for yourself, and then go after those goals, or go after those dreams?
Okay, this is Terra, the 1 star, September the 22nd of 82.
Another one, another 22.
Yeah, 22's again through today. Believe it.
Yes, I see that. So we have here, this person is in a 11 personal year. So this year is about some sort of spiritual awakenings, the master number 11 personal year. Now, what's interesting is that they're born on the master number 2 vibration in terms of the day, but this year is about spiritually awakening. And then that master number 22 is about bringing those ideas or those concepts from the spiritual realm down into reality. So what I would say to Deshawn is to really pay attention to your dreams, to how your intuition or spirit may be communicating through you and to you. And this is going to be a really interesting year. Use discernment in the people that you surround yourself with. I find that's going to be very important for you also this year.
Now, on the banner, people can call you for consultations, right?
Absolutely.
And also speaking engagements, because you speak at churches, you speak at funerals. I mean, you're all over the place. I mean, you wear many hats.
Yes.
This one here, thanks, Fly Mommy, for the donation. Much appreciated. Sheet. Now, this is different. 3/3/1993. Her name is Dynasty. Business name is Fly Mommy Wifey, to help women all over the world. But that makes sense.
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah, because see, 3 is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter rules foreigners, foreign countries, foreign languages. That makes perfect sense.
Yep.
What say you about her? And especially the year she's going through this year, too.
Wow. Another 4 personal year.
Yep.
Now, what I would say about this about this person, this young lady, is that this is the year to work on laying that foundation. So because of the age difference between the first two and this young lady, is that they may already have some sort of foundation, and they're making adjustments or changes in their foundation, or haven't gone through sudden unexpected changes. Mm-hmm. This young lady may be looking to actually get her feet established, or establish a greater foundation, so that way she can launch even further out. So this is the year to really have a plan, work your plan. If you find that things are overwhelming or stressful, don't be afraid to find someone that you can reach out to, that you can talk to, so that way you don't hold on to a lot of those mental and emotional upsets.
Excellent. This is Bernadette Coleman. She was born 3/18/53 at 3:25 p.m.
All right. Let's see here. She is in a 1 personal year. So I would say that Bernadette is interested in looking for some new experiences. Maybe this could be traveling to new places, coming into new friendships, new connections, new relationships. Maybe even starting a new business, maybe like a side hustle or something like that. But this year is all about all things new. Whatever seeds that she plants this year are likely going to grow and spread over the next 9 years. So really just be mindful of what it is that she wants to achieve this year. I get a sense that she's also very spiritual, so there could be some new spiritual experiences. And as I said, that what happened, what flashed up in front of me was almost like a veil that opens. So maybe this could be a year where she may experiences like different types of visions or dreams or things of that nature.
Very good. What about Sandy Ann Dunkley? She is born 10/7. She's a Libra too. 1980 between 5:30 a.m. and 6. So her sun is in the first house. That's
Yeah,
what
I saw that there's a few Libras in the house. You know, I
yeah,
appreciate the love.
I must knew you was up here, right?
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate the love in the building.
Very good.
So
now what's up with Sandy? What's going on with her?
Sandy is going through a 6th personal year. This year is about duties, responsibilities, especially maybe in things like with the home, with family. This would also be a year where she may be looking at making some changes in the home, maybe doing some sort of renovations, changing up her wardrobe, maybe even doing something different with her hair. But the largest thing that I would say for Sandy is that this is the year to rebrand yourself. So maybe because she's a 7, I get a sense that she likes to keep things to herself. So people are always trying to figure out, like, who is Sandy? Like, you know, we can't quite put our finger on her. This is going to be that year where you could step out and rebrand yourself and say, pow, this is who I am. Right in your face. Yeah.
Now, this is Chili Lock. Thank you so much for the donation, Chili Lock. She says, can she have financial advice reading? She was born in Chicago at 8:27 p.m. on April the 9th. Happy belated birthday in 1988. So what say about you for her?
Okay, so this year she is in a 11 personal year also.
No, chill. I think it's a guy. I'm almost sure. Chill.
I'm sorry. Chill. Sorry. I'm sorry. So this person is in a 11 personal year. So this particular year would be about more like spiritual awakenings. So as it relates to financial advice, this is 2 things I would say. Number one, before you invest in or engage in any sort of, let's say, investments or anything like that, you want to check in with your intuition, check in with yourself, to see what it is that you're feeling, what it is that I see. Yeah, don't jump to like that first thing. You utilize patience and discernment this year. You may find that next year may be a little better in terms of like financial expansion and things like that. But this year is more about like focusing on your spiritual awakening, also doing some like emotional healing and things of that nature.
Good. I have another one too. This is interesting. I have a couple, and believe it or not, God says they're only born a day apart. One is September 3rd, the other is September the 2nd. That's his wife.
Okay, let's see. What was it? September 2nd?
Yep, that's the wife, and he is September 3rd. So it's very interesting to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me see. Husband is in a 1 personal year.
Exactly.
And wife is in a 9 personal year.
Exactly.
So
likely to be more challenged between the two.
Between the two, I would definitely say that this year will be a little more challenging for the wife.
Nothing personal, but
yeah, it's just what the numbers are.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Being born under the 2, the 9 is in direct opposition. So what this tells me is that this year is about being a little. She would need to practice patience a little better, managing how she's feeling. Maybe and hubby, he's on, go.
Yeah, he's on fire right now.
Yeah, he fired up, ready to go. It's all about, hey, let's do something new. And wife might be saying, listen, I just want to chill out. Like I'm in this nine.
She'll get her turn in 2024. She just has to be a little patient.
That's really what the 9 personal year comes to teach us, is about utilizing patience. So this that's definitely what I would say about wife, is to utilize some patience. Just chill a little bit. Your time is coming. Next year she'll be bossing him around.
Yeah, and it's not that bad. She'll get her turn.
Yeah, and he'll be in
Um,
that 2 cycle, so it'll be
but let me
perfect.
tell you this. Here to me, see the beauty of a 2. I call 2 the number 2 with women the Delilah number. In the
Mm.
Bible, when Samson was finally, when the Pope sent the armies after um, Samson and he beat them all back, he said, little old Delilah in there. She ain't have no knife, no gun, no nothing. She was just looking good, smelling good. And so I call the number 2 for women the Delilah number. They can be very persuasive, very charming, very disarming. And I'm sure that's exactly how she deals with her husband, too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, what about Stephen E? He's November 17th.
So I would say that he's in an 8 personal year, which is actually one of his main number. He's born on the 17th, was the 8. So this could be about some sort of status, recognition, achievement, some sort of financial reward. I'm not sure what he does in terms of career, but maybe this year he could get some sort of raise or promotion on the job. Also, what this year could bring is some sort of connection from either people or places from the past. So if there's anything that's in the past that you're not interested in dealing with, you want to make sure that you kind of clean up any sort of unresolved debts, maybe as it relates to karma or apologies or forgiving anything that needs to be happening from the past.
I know it's close. Hey, can you stay longer? A little longer?
Absolutely, brother Lloyd.
Good.
But look, I thought we established that we were going to go over
Yeah,
an hour.
yeah, we're gonna talk until we run out of. Is my computer charged? Yeah, it's charged up. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
I'm plugged up. Good.
Now I have to agree with my buddy. Let me tell you about this gentleman, Stephen Williams. I've never met him. He's out of Chicago. Every single week without fail, he gives some recognition to me, and I'm forever thankful for it. And I'm saying this: there's a lot of you in here, although it was never my intention till I got on 19 Keys show that people start giving donations, and I think that's well and good, but nothing is free in that sense. So the likes are free. So if you cannot donate, although that's not my intention, I'm trying to give a parallel of whatever you call it. If you cannot donate, donate a like. Okay, get these likes up. Okay, I'm
That,
with Stephen Williams on that. If you can't give a donation, although that was never my intention. In fact, I was on almost 2 years before people start donating. I said, wow, that's interesting. That's strange. But donate in that sense. Give a free like. It don't cost you a penny other than to push the darn button. Okay. Thank you.
That's it.
Okay, here we go. This is Shahan Randall. Hello, everyone. She's born October the 13th, and her daughter is born October the 5th. That's interesting.
2 Libras.
Yeah.
Okay. And both air numbers.
Yeah.
Oh.
Air numbers with air signs.
Air signs, yeah. So I wonder what the conversation is like there.
Exactly.
All right, so let's see. For mom is in a 3 personal year, and daughter is in a 4 personal year.
Exactly.
Okay. So let's see. So for mom, this is about doing some sort of this year. It's really about doing some sort of self-improvement, in some degree. This could be about expanding your network, expanding your horizons, engaging in more youthful activities. You may find, I want to go out and, who knows, play sports, or might want to get involved in podcasting or some sort of something related to like technology or things like that. And people are like, girl, that's for the young people. Yeah, you should do that. This is that year to like discover the fountain of youth that's within you. And then for your daughter, this is going to be a year, and wow, the 4 personal year shows up again. So this is that year of like really being focused, being disciplined, being grounded, being organized. So whether it's with school or anything like that, really making sure that she has a checklist, she's following that checklist. Because she's a master, I would say this, a master at procrastinating. She works well under pressure, and she can wait to do things at the last minute. So you want to be able to encourage certain practices and disciplines now, so that way she won't utilize procrastination as a tool.
All right, I've got someone here. This is Natalie Crawford. She says she's a Libra. Boy, this must And believe me, I'm not just trying to pick all Libras just because my guest is a Libra. But she is born October the 14th, and she says her partner is born on May 21st, which I think is an interesting combination, Brandon.
Right. So let's see here. She would be in a 4 personal year, and what was the partner? May 21st.
Yeah.
That is an interesting combination.
That's exactly right. This year, anyway. Yes, on a lot of levels.
Yeah, that is a very interesting. Let me take a look here. Ooh, okay. So this is
it's not that bad, Natalie.
no, it's not that bad.
Me and Brandon, we know how we roll. Okay.
Yeah. So
here's
an interesting thing, Lloyd.
Yes.
Is that this is a case where that's saying that opposites attract. This is if I could say, you know, anything, this would definitely be that case where opposites attract.
At least for this year, especially this
year. Yeah, definitely, especially this year. And then even their birth numbers, the 3 and the 5, those are the opposition numbers.
Exactly.
So this is a couple where it wouldn't surprise me that now they're both interested, they both into communication, but one probably may talk more and the other may be like, all right, let's just go do this, or let's go do this. And one is like, all right, do we have to do that? All right, yeah, we're gonna go do this. And then, all right, but there's just a lot of activity, a lot of, you know, stuff that's going on. Let's see, Natalie is in a 4 personal year, so this could be about, you know, kind of getting things together, making some, well, being, I would say, experiencing maybe some sudden and unexpected changes. And then her partner is in a 6 personal year, so this could be about handling like duties and responsibilities, whether it's within the family or home, you know, different things like that.
Interesting. I gotta give Charlene. She says vote for Lloyd for the Forbidden Knowledge Award with Billy Carson. In fact, I'm trying to get him on my show. I hope I can do that at some point. He's being a 4. Now, this is from Ratuset Oceanic Moon. Greetings all. They are born 3/12/1989, and the partner is born 3/29. That's interesting. They're in the same month, but totally different signs. Totally different signs.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's 03/29. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I'm not sure what is it about this 4 personal year that keeps popping up.
Well, maybe it's means for people symbolically to get it together.
Get it together.
Yeah.
That's it.
Get your stuff together.
So the person who was born March 12th is in the 4 personal year. So this, just like we just said, because we're seeing this repetition of the number 4 so much, there's like this universal scream for everyone to start getting things together, getting things organized, maybe even about like spiritual practices, because we're in that year of spiritual practices and spiritual discipline. Maybe this energy is screaming about, you know, get more organized. Maybe it's about building a meditation schedule, or, you know, becoming more consistent and things like that. Partner is in a 12 personal year. So interesting thing is last year she would partner would have been in the 11 personal year, spiritual awakenings and things of that nature. Usually what I find with that 12 year, we see this really the number of expansion, the number of creativity. When we look at the disciples of Christ, he had 12 disciples, and from 12 disciples, one of them preached his first sermon and 3,000 joined the church. And then from there, you know, there's over 2.1 billion Christians, you know, around the world, or something along those lines. The number 3, you know, it keeps showing up. This is about expanding or expressing maybe what they experience in those spiritual awakenings or spiritual those spiritual experiences last year.
Well, it's interesting from my point of view. It's interesting because they would say, well, a fire sign and a water sign shouldn't go together, because this person is born in the early part of March, which makes them a water sign, and the person is born toward the latter part of the month of March, which makes them a fire sign. But what is interesting, because we are astronumerologists, you, I, Jackie, Simon, and those who are dealing with what we do, this person is a water sign with a fire number, and a partner is a fire sign with a water number.
Exactly.
So that would explain some of the exceptions. We'll explain that some other time. But that's good. That's good. That is very, very good. Now this is Desiree May. I swear, the leaders keep coming up. I don't know what.
They keep showing, the Libras keep popping up.
Yeah.
They're showing their love tonight.
Now that's who they're interested in, and she says she's an Aries, which is interesting. No, excuse me, she's not an Aries. She is a Gemini. A Gemini. She's April. No, she's a Taurus. Excuse me. She's a Taurus, right? So they're both ruled by Venus. That's for sure.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's see here. So Desiree is in a 6 personal year, and
correct.
The partner is in a 7 personal year.
Mm-hmm.
So what this tells me is, I'm not sure how long they've been together, but maybe Desiree is having thoughts about, hey, where are we going with this? I'm ready to take things to another level. But also this is that year for Desiree to look at how can you rebrand yourself also with this 6 energy? How can you present yourself to the world in a new kind of way? Because what's going to happen is you're getting these ideas. Next year, you're going to almost kind of like more of a reflection, not really being bothered with too many people. And then the year after that, you're going to step out as this brand new person. So this is that time to look at who do you want the world to meet in the next couple of years. And then for her partner, he's in a 7 personal year. This is about how I sense it. Even though it's a spiritual vibration, I sense that there's going to be some sort of awakenings again. And that's how it comes across, almost like spirit is coming back around another time to give him another chance. So this is going to be that opportunity where he's going to be able to go within, do some inner reflection, do some introspection, and then decide what kind of changes he wants to make as he prepares to go into this 8 personal year next year.
And you know what's interesting? She's in a 6 personal year, and he's in a 7 personal year. There's a phrase to paraphrase it, that things can be odds at 6s and 7s, because one is an odd number, one is an even number. But yet one is a water energy and the other is an earth energy. So it can't be that bad if they know how to work together with that.
Yeah, because if you put a seed in the soil, you got to put water on its foot to grow.
So they can have a nurturing relationship. They can take it to the next level. This is Wadia Salam. They're born in Harlem. Yay for Harlem. May they get a reading there January the 25th of 1969.
Okay. So this person is another 6 personal year. So I see we got the 6s and the 4s. And I think what that's telling us is that we've got to get it together. And this is just a very general intuitive reading for the masses or for the collective, is that this year we should focus on getting ourselves together or getting things together, so that way we can really rebrand humanity, because we don't understand that 6 is the number of humanity. That's why in the 6th day God created man. There's a number, a lot of things that we can go into. But this is for this particular person, I would say that this is a year that's going to be about some changes, whether it's movement, whether there's gifts and favors, especially by persons who may be in authority, or different things like that. I'm not sure what she does in terms of work, but maybe like bonuses or gifts and just appreciations. This is also that year to really be able to pause and appreciate the beauty of nature. So go outside and take a walk, take in the fresh air, especially up in Harlem. I'm trying to get up there this week or next week, Brother Lloyd, so I'll definitely give you a call.
My man. This is Alonzo Law. Thank you very much for the donation. They're born 6/22/93.
Another 22.
Yes. And by the way, as these people give donations, y'all can give donations by, upping the likes. I don't know what the likes does, but increase the likes, please. It's free. All right. Thank you, Alonzo Law.
So what I would say about Alonzo is that this year he's going to be going into an 8 personal year.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about the 4s and the 8s is that they're often out of all the 9 numbers, those 2 are the numbers that often get misunderstood. And between the 4 and the 8 is the most misunderstood. So this is that year to learn how to be as practical as you can, to learn how to be able to be as down to earth, be as grounded as you can this year. Because I can tell as a 4, he's very mental, definitely very much into thinking. So this is that year looking at how you can come more down to earth, so that way you can have status recognition and achievement. Maybe this is some year that you're thinking about getting a job, or if you're in college, maybe there's graduation. I'm not something along those lines, but there's definitely a need to be grounded.
I say, Brandon, I like how you put that, buddy. I like how you put that. Okay. Now, this is Trigger the God. He is 7/31/88, and his wife is 1/11. Interesting birthdays.
Yeah.
Okay. He is a Leo and she is a Capricorn. That reminds me of the combination of Barack Obama, a Leo, and Michelle Obama, the Capricorn. But they're different numbers. But he is like a 4, like Barack Obama, though. But Michelle was born on January the 17th, which is a totally different energy. But anyway.
All right. So earlier when we had the combination of the partner, I believe the wife was in the 1. No, the husband was in the 1, and the partner was in the 9. Yeah. So now we have the reverse.
Yep.
Yeah. So he's in a 9 personal year, which is about bringing some things to an end, but also I'm sensing that there's some sort of interest in like international culture, or something about expanding your horizons beyond maybe where your current location is. So maybe you've been looking at international culture, thinking about learning a different language or something along those lines. While his wife this year is about having some sort of new experiences, new opportunities, taking her life in a new direction.
Good. What about, and by the way, Gwendolyn, thanks so much for your donation, please. She is born January the 1st of 55.
Okay. I think we had someone
yeah, someone I think similar. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is another person who's going through a 9 personal year. The 1s and the 9s are both fire numbers. So this is the year where I sense she'll be able to start things and also bring them to a finish. So maybe this is a good year for like small projects, short-term goals, to look at what can you start and complete in this year. And then also, if you've been thinking about taking some international trips or taking some long distance travel, maybe taking a cruises or something like that, I would definitely encourage you to go ahead for that this year.
Good. There's a person that said that they love the shirt you're wearing. What is that shirt you're wearing, sir?
Oh, my shirt says they're not dreads, they're locks. And I was in Manhattan today, and this guy says, "Hey, Dreadman." So I pulled down my unzip my coat, and I was like, "Hey, take a look, bro. They're not dreads."
Let me say this for the uninitiates: what is the difference between dreads and locks, or are they one and the same?
No, they're not one and the same. Dreads is a derogatory term that Europeans use when they would see matted hair or locks, and it comes from that phrase of they dreaded to see them. Those are those dread heads. Whereas locks is because the hair is locked. Here's another interpretation of it, is that the hair locks in energy, or it locks in the intuition. So that's why I'm very particular about who touches my hair. And not everyone can do my hair, not everyone can wash my hair. I don't even let people yeah, I don't let anybody even just touch my hair because it locks in energy.
Interesting. You know,
Yeah,
we're gonna have to have you on to talk about the locks, okay? I think that would be very, very interesting. Okay. This is good. Let's go. We're gonna take some more calls, but I want to pause a second so people can see how to get in touch with my wonderful brother, my baby brother, Reverend Brandon Smith. Okay, he's a minister, musician, a numerologist, author, and he's a great dad and a whole lot more that y'all don't know. Okay. His site is b-wellness in bewellenergywellness.com. His email is Brandon at bewellenergy be bewellenergywellness.com, and his contact number is 866-649-6211, and his IG or Instagram is bjsmith5, and his Cash App. You know how I feel about the Cash App. Please don't let me get on the soapbox with this. Y'all know what y'all need to do. You know, right now, if we take a donation, okay, this is the
that's
time
right.
to give a donation. All
Right.
righty. And give you a
Lloyd,
little time. Go ahead.
so here's the thing, Lloyd. There are some instances where I've had people they'll say to me, "Hey, listen, can I give a tithe to you?" And I was like, "Say what?" They was like, "No, like working with you has been, transforming to my life. Whether it's through the coaching work, as energy healing, um, numerology consultations, and I've asked the question to some of my teachers. I pray on it in meditation, and oftentimes the answer comes back yes, because that person wants to exchange energy. And if anytime that someone wants to exchange like a financial, especially financial energy with you, anytime you deny it, what happens is both of your auras tend to shrink and get weaker. But when you allow that exchange of energy to happen, both of your auras get stronger. And so, like, I would encourage anyone who is, who works in with spiritual gifts and things of that nature, who may feel conflicted about whether you should receive gifts or you should receive, even the question about tithes or whatever the case may be, to go within yourself to see, where is that God within you, and look at the needs or the services that you're providing, and realize that it's an energetic exchange. And then you can do the study and research about what are some of the more spiritual principles about tithing. So that way, when people they tithe into, whether your business, your personal, um, walk or whatever the case is, there is not just like, oh, I'm giving them money. It's more like there's an energetic exchange between two souls.
Very good. Very good. Now, next is we have Ebony Monique. She says, "Good evening, Lloyd and Reverend Brandon Smith. Hope this message finds you in the best of well, or find you well. I would greatly appreciate a reading. Her birthday is June the 18th, 1984. And a thank you. And we thank you as well, Sister Monique." Brandon, this is fun, for me.
Absolutely. I mean, look, I don't have nothing to do till tomorrow at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So you let me know when you're ready to stop it. I'll say, all right, that's it. We done. And again, the number 4 pops up.
That is true.
This 4 person.
That is true. That is true. So that must be a lesson in the theme tonight.
Yes, get it together. Get your stuff together. What areas of life do you need to become more organized in, or what areas of life do you need to become more disciplined, or what areas of life do you need to become more focused or more concentrated in, or concentrate your energies better in. So this is that universal year of the 4 is. I'm sorry, that this personal 4 energy. But even as it's been coming up throughout the show tonight, is this reminder about really focusing your energies. For Ebony, I'm not sure what it is that you do for work, but here's how I see it and how I sense it. It's almost like you being applauded for your hard work, but how I hear it is, don't get distracted by the noise. Just stay focused and stay disciplined with what it is that you're doing.
Okay, good. We're going to read just a couple of more. And by the way, this woman, Tawanda Gardner, says, "Congratulations on your book, Brandon. And let me tell you, everybody should get a copy of his book, especially for those that are religiously or metaphysically inclined. to kind of want to know what's going on, this would be an excellent book. And I mean, he breaks it down in a way where the common sense can't be denied. That's the one thing I like about the way you did this book, Brandon. It's just, they, regardless of how they feel, the logic and the knowledge of it is, it can't be denied. Okay.
Yeah. And the interesting thing, Lloyd, is, let's say if I were doing a seminar, something at church, or even when I've had my book and I did my book release at the church, there are people who are asking for, what year am I in, or what should I expect this year? Churches actually have personal years, and so let's say, because the church has an incorporation date, and if you're able, for religious leaders or persons who may be in leadership in their church, what that book does is it helps you to understand what cycle your church is in. So let's say if the church, let's say if the church is in a one personal year, this could be a year where they may send the leader on, say, like a sabbatical. They may, do some like retreats, and as it relates to like casting vision. Or let's say if they're in a 6 personal year, they may do like family workshops and, marriage workshops and different things like that. So it's just the 3 personal year. They may involve, say, like more of the arts, starting like dance ministries or mimes, or doing things with the music department, or theater, drama. So the book is really a tool that can help, in my opinion, can help churches and help religious organizations and leaders to be, to plan and be in the right place at the right time.
All right, good. I have 2 more that I want to do. Hold on, let me go to the comments section. This is Tia Bagata, or Bagatti, or Andre Gray, September the 1st.
Okay.
And there's the New York City mayor.
That's right. That it is. So we have here.
We'll take 1 more. And then I'm going to make my little announcements, and then you're going to end the show with whatever recommendations or suggestions for our guests. Okay.
Gotcha. So this, is this Andrea Gray? This person is in an 8 personal year. So this year is about, it is about status. It's about recognition. It's about achievement. But deeper than that, it's about I hear it is like honoring of the ancestors, or being connected to the ancestors. So maybe there's some sort of tradition or ancestors that are waiting to be acknowledged in some kind of way. What I would say is just to be mindful, especially of like the dreams, your visions and things like that, how your ancestors may appear to you. But there's a strong connection from the past. I'm not sure what this person does for work, but they could be up for promotion this year, whether it's in being put in a position of like leadership, management, a supervisory position, or even getting some sort of raise.
Okay, good. And the last one is Shay, August the 19th, and her daughter is November the 1st. That must be well, the daughter right now is small, but that must be an interesting thing about this one.
Now, interesting thing, Lloyd, I did a reading one time with it was a baby newborn who was born November the 11th. I think this was in 2020 at 11:11 a.m.
Wow. Wow. But things like that, yes.
Yeah.
I know somebody was born July the 7th of 1977 at 7 p.m. It's like, I mean, you can't like make this up. It's just how the laws of the universe works with numbers, So what say you about these 2?
So what I would say, see here. Mom is in a 7 personal year. So this could be a year where she may not necessarily want to be bothered with a whole lot, maybe wanting to do more reflection and introspection, just kind of taking it easy, chilling out. Now, our daughter's in a 1 personal year. So while mom may want to chill, her daughter wants to be on the go. Is mom's like, come on, mom, I want to do this. I want to go here. I want to do this.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
and it's going to come across because anything, whether it, and she's born on the 1st of the month. So this is a one energy. Don't like to take orders. Well, you know, it's going to be my way or the highway.
and she's got more ones in her birthday than her mother. So I know you'll be bossing later.
Yeah. So, mom, just know that we're praying for you. And just know that next year it'll get a little better.
It'll be your turn, Mom. Okay.
Yeah, it'll be your turn to be the boss next year. But you just got to ride shotgun this year.
Hold up, Brandon. Let me take a pause. You're a funny guy. Let me just do this 1 second to tell you what's coming up, and then I'm going to put Brandon's information back on here. But for those of you today, this evening's show has been brought to you by STShealing.com or the Sisters of the Traveling Spread. Be sure to log in, to inquire, to put your money down. Time is of the essence, okay? Don't fool around, folks. You got to do this. Join us. I think you saw a song where last week we had a fun, it went like nothing, okay? So this is it. And by the way, Jackie Levine, who is the moderator of tonight's show, want to let you know, too, that, this book is going like hotcakes, like butter on a pancake or something. So I'm saying to you, get yours. I got mine. I got 2. I sent my daughter 1. This book is amazing. Not because I know the sister, okay? Not because we work together, but I'm saying giving credit where credit is due. This is absolutely amazing book. And the skills of how she weaves the numbers with the cards and all that other stuff. I don't know how she does it. God bless her. So anyway, all I know is that April is almost a wrap. May is around the corner, but please sign up for the free monthly newsletter. You can get it at my website, Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. So for the newbies, that's LLOYD-Strayhorn, STRAYHORN.com. And my book, my audiobook is out. It took me over a week to record this thing, but it is recorded in my entire voice. The book is on sale now. It says at the bottom that it ended on the 21st, but believe me, we've extended it until this coming Friday. So use that code $826 to take advantage, so that way you can have it in your car. For those that like to lick the audiobooks, I would love to be among your audiobook collection, okay? That would be good. And I would be remiss if I didn't talk about my buddy King Simon. That's my man. Well, that's all I can say. And by the way, the Star 8 app is out, is being modified. So I understand some of the Android users are going through some things, but that'll be straight. I spoke to the people this morning. Just give us a couple of days. And with Mercury being retrograde, I am not surprised, and you can't force it. With Mercury's retrograde, that's the end of it. But for those of you who missed these segments and want to listen, go to your podcast, Audible, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeart, wherever it is, and be able to download these shows. And brother Brandon and I are going to be podcasting his show about what was said today. So working backwards again, please sign up for this. The Android users, it's available, although they're working out the little glitches, but that should be ready within 24 hours. The iOS or iPhone users, that should be ready in a couple of days. And please take advantage of the audiobook. For those of you who don't want to read but just listen, you'll hear it in my entire voice. Sign up for the free monthly newsletter. And don't forget to pick up this wonderful lady's book. There are not too many, which is why I got 3. Okay, I bought all 3. She ain't giving to me. I bought them. Okay, that's how I do. I support all of the people who come through this, freebies. Let me give you, can you spare? That's old. That's old. That's another century. Pay. You must invest in yourself, okay? And invest in the people you care for. And so Brandon, this is his book too. I think I got about 2 or 3 of his books, okay? So this is very, very important. And again, I want to let you know that this show is sponsored by the Sisters of the Traveling Spread. So please go to STShealing.com. That's STShealing.com. Now, Brandon, I got that out the way, buddy. How would you like to close the show, please?
Was just a thought that was running through my mind is based off of all the information that we gave at the beginning, just around tithing. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want people to walk away from or log off or whatever from this conversation thinking that I ain't gonna give the church my money no more. Now I want you to look at what's the intention behind why it is that you give. And then the other thing is that tithing, it doesn't only have to go to a church. So if you find there's a cause, an organization, a that inspires you to be better, inspires you to do better, inspires you to change your character so that way you're more in alignment with your higher self or with your your true nature, then definitely tithe into that cause. But don't allow anyone to kind of pressure you, or make you feel good or bad.
Guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But even and then there are some people who they won't make you feel guilty. They'll make you feel good about tithing. So you can give them out, and they'll give you all the praise, the recognition, and all that. And because by human nature we enjoy that, what we're gonna do? We'll do it again, and we'll do it again, and we'll do it again. And our motives is not for the expansion of the divine plan or the divine work. Our motives is because they're gonna call my name next time I do it.
Brandon, thank you so much, man. This was great. This was really, really great. Love you much, buddy. All right.
I love you too, man.
And everybody, I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. I got a surprise guest. I don't know who it is yet. That's why it's a surprise. Okay. So anyway, I'm keeping it real. Everybody, I want to thank you very, very much for joining us. And you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. And thank you. And Brandon, especially this I am so blessed with the people that I've been blessed to know. And to Jackie Levine, thank you very much. And please don't forget, pick up her book. There's not too many copies left because one of them, because I bought 3 of them myself. And there you go. All right. So don't fool around. Everybody, I want you to have a blessed day until then. And you take care. Okay, let me see. Not yet. Oh, I got to do this. I got to hit like this first. No. That's the one thing when you're doing live stuff. Okay, here we go. No, that's not it. Interesting. Here we go. This is it.